Before we talk about COVID-19 vaccine, I'd like to talk a little bit about the herd immunity. In this article published in Mayo Clinic website titled Herd Immunity and COVID-19, we understand what's known about herd immunity and what it means for COVID-19 infection. So why is herd immunity important? Herd immunity occurs when a large portion of a community, the herd, becomes immune to a disease, making the spread of disease from person to person unlikely. But what percentage of a community needs to be immune in order to achieve herd immunity? It varies from disease to disease. The more contagious a disease is, the greater the proportion of the population that needs to be immune to the disease to stop its spread. For example, the measles is a highly contagious illness. It's estimated that 94% of the population must be immune to interrupt the chain of transmission. Herd immunity can be achieved in two ways. Number one, it could be achieved by natural infection when a sufficient number of people in the population have recovered from a disease and have developed antibodies against future infection. For example, those who survived the 1918 flu pandemic were later immune to infection with the H1N1 flu, a subtype of influenza A. However, there are some major issues with relying on community reinfection to create herd immunity to the virus that caused COVID-19. First, it is not yet clear if infection with the COVID-19 virus makes a person immune to future infection. Research suggests that after infection with some coronaviruses, reinfection with the same virus, though usually mild and only happening in a fraction of people, is possible after a period of month or year. Experts estimate that in the United States, 70% of the population, which is more than 200 million people, would have to recover from COVID-19 to halt the epidemic. If many people become sick with COVID-19 at once, the healthcare system could quickly become overwhelmed. This amount of infection could also lead to serious complications and millions of deaths, especially among older people and those with chronic conditions. The second way to achieve herd immunity is vaccination. According to Bloomberg website, as of February 22nd, 64.2 million doses have been given to U.S. population. How to assess the adverse effects of COVID-19 vaccine and what is VAERS? VAERS is co-managed by CDC and FDA, and it is a system for collecting reports of adverse events, possible reactions, following receipt of vaccinations. Anyone can submit a report to VAERS. VAERS has received 30,000 reports annually in recent years. Health information provided in reports is coded and entered into a database. A VAERS report does not mean that the vaccine caused the health problem. Only those symptoms occurred after vaccination. We are in CDC website, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. It's the Vaccine Adverse Event Reporting System, VAERS request. So if you scroll down, you see that there is organized table layout, groups results by, we're going to choose VAERS ID and by age, for example, and the vaccine. You could put the title here. First of all, you need to choose the adverse event. You could put the title as whatever symptoms or outcome you wanted to see. Also, in the second part, you see select symptoms. You could just leave it all symptoms. In the third row, select vaccine characteristics. We're going to choose COVID-19 vaccine and the vaccine manufacturer, all doses, all manufacturers we chose. In section 4, we're going to select the location, age, and gender of our patients. We're going to choose United States, age, all ages, and all genders. In section 5, we're going to choose event category, all events. We're going to choose if patients recovered or serious, in serious condition, days in and out in hospital. We're going to scroll down. We'll leave the section 6, which is search for text fields, blank. For section 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, we're going to choose the date from December 2020 up to February 2021, which is present time. Also for section 12, we have other options. We're going to choose only show the total. Now I'm going to hit the send button here, and it's going to process the results. As you can see in this chart, there is 719 total events. All these patients unfortunately died after vaccination, but most of them had underlying diseases. So if you take a look at the second row, the patient history, the patient had mild hypertension, decreased oral intake, somnolence starting 3 days after vaccination, and death 5 days after administration. He did have advanced dementia though, and was hospital eligible based on history of aspiration pneumonia. And if you take a look at the left side, the VAERS ID, and hit on the VAERS ID, you see the exact date and the patient's age, which is very important. In this case, the patient was 66, and unfortunately he died on 25th of December 2020, and he received the vaccine on 23rd of December 2020. And if there is any extra or additional information, you could find it right here. These are the information that they actually submitted by nurse or next of kin. However, if we narrow our search between age 30 to 65, we're going to have only 114 events of death, which is still a lot, and mostly above 60 years old. So based on this data, it is still wise to get as many as people vaccinated against COVID-19 and its variants to have as a small damage from COVID-19 and its variants as possible. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you like this video and find it beneficial, please share it in your social media and to your friends and families. And like always, stay happy and healthy. Thanks, and have a great day.